In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to convert your old school pre-1990 model bikes with damping rod spring forks to work like modern forks. In my scenario, I'm going to be converting them because the fork springs are too slow, they're too soft, and I can't hop this around being a trials bike. I didn't want to change the forks on the bike to keep it original, and there's certain classes that you can't ride if you modify your bike for pre-1985. So my option was to go with the HFS kit from Spain. This is specially made to suit my bike. I took all the measurements of the springs, the fork caps, all the dimensions of the forks, and sent that through to them, and they made a kit for my weight and my riding style and my preferences. So this is the kit that I was sent from HFS. Stands for Hybrid Fork Suspension. My kit is a trials kit for a Honda TLR 200. They do trials kits, motocross kits, and road bike kits. So in the box, I got sent instructions on how to install the kit, instructions on the maintenance kit, invoices, some stickers, and the kit itself. So I also got a pump, a special pump to adjust the rebound of the forks. Comes with a cartridge for the right fork leg. Comes with an adjustable cap for the other side, the left-hand side, maintenance kit, and then the two different springs for each fork leg. So the way that the springs are set up in the bike is the right leg has a spring with the cartridge above. So the spring compresses until the cartridge compresses too, and that's what provides faster rebound and less bottoming out. And then on the left hand fork leg has a dual spring rate, which is adjustable, as well as an adjustable cap. They're really nicely built and have a very nice machined look. Also in the cartridge fork cap, it has the hidden valve to adjust your rebound for your cartridge. Okay, so now it's time to remove the fork springs and install the kit. As you can see, the fork reaction is quite soft and is quite slow. So now it's time to remove the forks, take out the fork springs, take out the oil, and then replace the springs with the HFS kit and new fork oil. Also, don't forget to undo your fork caps before you loosen the forks out of the triple clamps. It's a lot easier to loosen them off than trying to crack them open in the vise and damaging them. Now you just want to put your fork leg in the vise. Make sure you've got something to wrap around it so you don't damage the stanchion. So my forks already, I actually had spacers set up. I had 2 spacers and a washer to try to get more out of the springs because they're almost 40-year-old springs and they've deteriorated. So now I have to check the oil capacity for the forks on the TLR 200. I've got the service manual here. So my fork oil capacity is 295 cc. And the HFS kit for the right leg requires 70 milliliters less than that. So we're putting in 225 milliliters. So now I'll be installing the right fork spring and the cartridge, making sure that the cartridge is fully extended. First fork leg done. And then for the left leg, I'll be putting in the specified amount from Honda for the fork oil because there is no cartridge in this leg. And the first spring to go in is the longest spring. A spacer. So the instructions say for a soft response, install 1 mark upwards. So there's marks on this adapter. And then for firm response, 3 marks upward. So I want a firmer response, so I'll put the 3 grooves facing upwards. Make sure that that's seated in the spring. And then the shorter fork spring. Now this is the cap that's adjustable, so you can adjust how much preload you have on the suspension by taking off the fork cap and adjusting this nut to your preference. So in the instructions as well for the preload adjuster, it states that 20 millimeters or more that the fork cap sits above the stanchion is for firm behavior, 10 to 20 mils softer behavior. So I'm going to adjust that straight away to 20 millimeters because I want a firmer response from these forks. And then just tighten that down with an Allen key in the end. So these were the original fork springs as well, which were quite soft and didn't really work quite well for the application. For an 80s model bike set up for modern trials, it just didn't cut it. So now it's time to reinstall the forks and see how they feel. Another good tip too is to tighten up your front brake lever with a cable tie before you tighten up the wheel, because it actually centers the brake hub if you have brake shoes, and then allows it to roll freely. I get a lot better response when I do this. I'll be doing a video on brake drums in the near future. So that's the fork kit installed. Now it's time to play around with them and see how they feel and possibly adjust them to my preferences. I won't find out properly how they feel until I properly ride it and probably play around with it more, but that'll be coming up later on in the video. So now it's time to remove the air element cap. You should be able to see the valve hidden down in there, so it's not going to cop any dirt and it's nicely hidden. So I'm roughly sitting at about 2.5 bar there. Release the cap. Okay, so now it's time to see how they feel. The moment of truth. They definitely respond a lot quicker. I can tell that off the bat. I'll definitely have to do a lot of fine adjustment. Wow. I can actually hop this now too. Feels like a modern bike. I might actually add a little bit more pressure and see how that feels, see if I get some more response with the front wheel hop. So I've now set that to about 3.5 bar. I'll see how that feels. Wow. It's a lot quicker. So after all that, I was quite confused. I thought the forks would react a bit faster, and there was like a weird clicking noise going on in the forks. I had a bit more of a look, and there was actually a spacer that came in the kit that was to go in between the air cartridge and the spring. So there was a point in between the spring and the cartridge where the spring would come up and actually touch the cartridge and then work. So now that that's done, they feel even better, which I didn't really think was possible at this stage, but I've done some fine tuning, adjusted the preload, adjusted the air element to what I feel is right before I go for a ride, and it's night and day. I can't believe it, to be honest. Over the moon. Reacts really well, really fast. Yeah, time to test it out. We'll cut to that now. So I have a stock TLR 200, the exact same model as my bike, and then my bike with the HFS kit. It's time to do some comparisons and see how they feel. Straight away, rebound on my TLR is really fast and it's still quite plush, and I know already I'll be able to hop it around well. And then on the stock TLR, you can see how much sag the springs have. So no pressure on the forks, lift up. They sag that low already, and then when I stand on the bike, they sag even lower, and they just don't want to come back at all. They're not set up for trials. So you can see with this bike, I'm barely getting enough rebound out of the forks to hop it. It's near impossible. Overall, I'm quite blown away with the difference that the kit has made. It's made the forks feel like a modern bike, and I'm very happy that I can tune them to what I want, because they'll slowly break in and the feel will change and I can still adjust that. It's not set. I can now front wheel hop this thing around very easily. It does half the work for me compared to the stock TLR. It just does not work at all. It weighs too much and the springs are too worn out and they're too soft. Even jumping off that ledge, this was nice and plush jumping off, and I got that rebound off the bottom, didn't bottom out. Compared to the stock bike, I actually hurt my wrist and my shoulder jumping off that ledge because it completely bottomed out and crunched, and it puts all that stress into your body. So I am over the moon with this kit. It's really changed the geometry of the bike, the way it kind of rides. A lot easier to do stoppies now. The suspension just doesn't go to mush. Will make it a lot more competitive to ride as well. And yeah, if you want to try to improve your twin shock or your damping rod forks, this is definitely the best way to go. I went for the HFS kit because I wanted an actual air element in the fork. I've seen gold valve emulators, but I just thought I may as well go with the right kit, and I'm stoked. I'll be putting in this kit in each bike that I have that requires it. Also, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll be bringing out more videos soon, and I'm trying to work on more content. So thanks for watching. Say hello.